President Trump did a speech at the UN, and some very interesting things were seen. I'll comment a little bit on his speech and what's going on, but most of it is from the individuals he's talking about. Let's get started.
Responsible for the starvation deaths of millions of North Koreans.
Now here he is talking about the DPRK of North Korea. This guy does absolutely nothing. Doesn't flinch, doesn't do anything. Now he's writing, and I'm going to have to assume that he's making notes about what's being said. He gives no indication of falsehood, gives no indication of gives no indication that he's even listening. That is not normal behavior. It really does feed into the whole mindset of fear to express your own thoughts and opinions. Because people this stuck on expressing nothing have fear to express it, period, good or bad. If he agrees with North Korea, then show it. You go home alive. If you're somewhat miffed by him, then hide it. But to show nothing for either side means that nothing is safe. Let's continue.
And for the imprisonment, torture, killing, and oppression of countless more. We were all witness to the regime's deadly abuse when an innocent American college student, Otto Warmbier, was returned to America only.
Saw him grab the podium as he talks about Otto, an innocent college student, grabs podium. Now this speech, because I watched the whole thing, these words are not surprises to him. In other words, he's either practiced this speech or he wrote it all himself. It would not surprise me though if he had help in it, but he was definitely involved in the writing of this speech.
Only to die a few days later. We saw it in the assassination of the dictator's brother.
See that? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. He looks up with no expression. I'm going to go look at that again.
We saw it in the assassination of the dictator's.
Quickly up, quickly down. Concentration in writing. It's like all he did was look up to see, the subject that he was writing notes on and then look back down. Nothing there.
His brother using banned nerve agents in an international airport. We know it kidnapped a sweet 13-year-old Japanese girl from a beach in her own country to enslave her as a language tutor for North Korea's spies. If this is not twisted enough, now North Korea's reckless pursuit of nuclear weapons and ballistic missiles threatens the entire world with.
Still nothing from this guy. Nothing. Just note-taking.
The United States has great strength and patience, but if it is forced to defend itself or its allies, we will have no choice but to totally destroy North Korea. Rocket Man.
Yeah, he calls him Rocket Man, but I wanted to go back to what I saw with his group. Solemn. Go back.
Is forced to defend itself or its allies. We will have.
Blondie back here. She hasn't learned yet. Or she just wants attention. Well, I'll give you some attention, Blondie. Shaking her head yes in the positive. There, you got your attention. We've got Rex here with his stress. Definitely all through here on the statement that's coming. They all know what's in the speech. Stress in here with the statement that's coming.
No choice but to totally destroy North Korea. Rocket Man.
And you see all Rex Tillerson go this way with his eyes. And her.
But if it is forced to defend itself or its allies, we will have no choice but to totally destroy North Korea.
Both of them went in the same direction. I've done this before. If there was ever a doubt in your mind that that's what's coming or is seriously being thought about, there you go. All right, let's go on.
Rocket Man is on a suicide mission for himself and for his regime. The United States is ready, willing, and able, but hopefully this will not be necessary. That's what the United Nations is all about.
United. United, Trump. Yeah, not united. I can see this will be the next one. He messed up on the word united. There's something wrong with Trump. Let's go back.
That's what the United Nations is all about.
He got lost. That's the problem with teleprompters. He was reading it, he got a little lost, and then as you listen,
that's what the United Nations is.
He got off the teleprompter because he knows the speech and just starts looking at the audience till he gets through and they've fixed or whatever was wrong with it that he couldn't see it.
4. Let's see how they do.
Now back to
time
teleprompter.
for North Korea.
Now he's back to the teleprompter. You definitely can tell when someone's practiced a speech so well that if they read it, because as the brain reads, your eyes are following along, but your memory is also playing into as you're reading. Okay? So if your eyes go a little faster than your brain and they hit upon something, let's say they see a word and the A comes out, but the mind is already on united as it comes out of the mouth, so it comes out united because they're trying to work simultaneously instead of together. It's just interesting tricks of the brain. So he gets off the teleprompter to go straight from memory and his own mind, which is why we can say that he is the one that was involved in writing the speech, and then goes back to teleprompter. Why are teleprompters there? So that you don't forget to mention any points that you wanted to make. I don't like them. I prefer notes, but to each his own.
And I want to thank China and Russia for joining the vote to impose sanctions, along with all of the other members of the Security Council. Thank you to all involved. But we must do much more. It is time for all nations to work together to isolate the Kim regime until it ceases its hostile behavior. We face this decision not only...
Well, there's some smiling faces over here, and I don't know if they're with Lavrov or not, but if we just go off Lavrov and his compadre right behind him, see...
Nations to work together to isolate the Kim regime until it ceases its hostile behavior. We face...
Taking notes, focus, concentration, but they're unlike the North Korean guy who refused to move at all, gave no indication. He's paying attention. He paid attention looking. Lavrov isn't paying attention whatsoever. Let's look at that one more time.
Regime until it ceases its hostile behavior. We face this decision.
Yeah, he's not paying attention at all. He's reading something else.
Not only in North Korea.
And judging from the guy behind him and how he was digging in his brain and just listening, a stress listen, I would say Russia is not surprised by this speech either.
The Iranian government masks a corrupt dictatorship behind the false guise of a democracy. It has turned a wealthy country with a rich history and culture into a...
Now let that play a little bit. He's typing on his little cell phone and he's being talked about.
An economically depleted rogue state.
And that's how he feels about Donald Trump. But it gets better.
Whose chief exports are violence, bloodshed, and chaos. The longest suffering victims of Iran's leaders are, in fact, its own people. Rather than use its resources to improve Iranian lives, its oil profits go to fund Hezbollah and other terrorists that kill innocent Muslims and attack their peaceful Arab and Israeli neighbors. This wealth, which rightly belongs to Iran's people,
you see Bibi all excited about that. Yep, that's right. I hope you all are all listening.
Also goes to shore up Bashar al-Assad's dictatorship, fuel Yemen's civil war, and undermine peace throughout the entire Middle East. We cannot let a murderous regime continue these destabilizing activities while building dangerous missiles.
Syrian Arab Republic. And this move right here, I don't like. It's like it's hiding.
Continue these destabilizing activities while building dangerous missiles, and we cannot abide by an agreement if it...
And he's not happy about it. He kept going to emotion a lot on that one.
...provides cover for the eventual construction of a nuclear program. The Iran deal was one of the worst and most one-sided transactions the United States has ever entered into. Frankly, that deal is an embarrassment to the United States, and I don't think you've heard the last of it, believe me.
On the Iran deal, this is the Iranian rep. Embarrassment to the United States. So when they cut to him, we've got a very big stressor indicator, and then it goes down. We'll rewind just a little bit so we can see it through. So like a surprise look that it's embarrassing to us.
Believe me.
And then we see the smirk that comes across. You can speculate on the why. I speculate that they know it's a really crappy deal for the U.S., and they feel as if they've got us by the balls.
It is time for the entire world to join us in demanding that Iran's government end its pursuit of death and destruction.
I wish they would have let that play on his face a little longer. I'd have liked to seen that. It almost looks, nah, he's looking at a teleprompter.
Time for the regime to free all Americans, and the day will come when the people will face a choice. Will they continue down the path of poverty, bloodshed, and terror? Or will the Iranian people return to the nation's proud roots as a center of...
Oh, he does not look happy. That is a mean mugger if I'd ever seen one.
civilization, culture, and wealth, where their people can be happy.
He was mean mugging. Ooh, he's not happy. I wish we could have watched his face as each one of those statements were being said so we can see which one really irritated him or where it started. That would have been better. I need a camera crew.
And prosperous once again. The actions of the criminal regime of Bashar al-Assad, including the use of chemical weapons against his own citizens, even innocent children, shock the...
This was perfect. Finally, we get to see a reactionary moment. Sitting pretty much without hiding his face, and then he hides it. And go back.
The use of chemical weapons against his own citizens, even innocent...
His own weapons. He goes to a memory, a worded memory, something talked about.
Children, shock the...
He's digging around in his brain, emotional. He does not like this.
Conscience of every decent person. No society can be safe.
Readjust. I would say that they have used chemical weapons on people. I don't know, and this is where the belief system comes into play. Syrian may believe that they used it on terrorists, and the West may believe it used it on innocent people. I guess it depends on who do you consider a terrorist and who do you consider innocent people. But I would say from that they have used chemical weapons.
The problem in Venezuela is not that socialism has been poorly implemented, but that socialism has been faithfully implemented.
Did you see that? If you wanted to know where the world was going, that should give you an idea where Trump's mind thinks that it wants to go. When he says the problem with socialism wasn't that it was poorly implemented, but that it was faithfully implemented. And of all the times in the speech, he actually paused and waited for the response from the audience. And it took him a minute. And then the clapping began. And then you saw this look that he gave. Just the shift of the eyes to look across the audience. He's probably looking at a particular group of people and pointing them out with his eyes. Unfortunately, we don't get to see who that is. And then scans the rest of the audience. Tight-jawed. I bet you he would like to say more. I would like for him to say more. I would like to know who he was looking at.
From the Soviet Union to Cuba to Venezuela.
He thinks it's hilarious. Oh, I wonder if this was this group, Luxembourg. Was it you guys? Let's see their reaction just real quick.
From the
Not much.
Soviet Union to Cuba.
A little of annoyance. Some giggles back here. Who are you with? Oh, I can't see. So we got Luxembourg annoyed, Mr. Giggly, Mr. Giggly. Oh, she's been giggling back here too. This is the annoyed crowd. I wonder why you're annoyed.
To Venezuela, wherever true socialism or communism has been adopted, it has delivered anguish and devastation and failure.
Yeah, I watched it till the end, just to make sure I didn't miss anything that I felt was important. Oh, to be a fly on the wall in some of these meetings. If you'd like to leave a like, if you like the content, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.